Шановні колеги, ми продовжуємо наш робочий день. Тема брифінгу вплив використання кризи в Греції російською політикою, зокрема політикою Кремля. Говорити буде Олів'є Ведрін, європейський експерт, президент Франції.
Olivier VEDRINE.
I am very happy to present this new conference here in the Ukraine Christmas Center. The subject of this press conference will be how Putin used the Greek crisis. As you know, in those recent months, the Kremlin played with the Greek government, and the Greek government entered in this game. Tsipras at the Economic Forum of St. Petersburg, and then after a referendum in Athens. Putin wants to divide the European Union, and the Greek crisis is a geopolitical opportunity for the men of the Kremlin. The fight engaged by Alexis Tsipras with its European partners last weekend leaves an impression of great disaster. 5 years after the outbreak of the Greek debt crisis, Europe has never seemed so helpless and weak. The future of its currency and, more broadly, the project is now in the hands of a people breathless. This crisis started with governments that were inefficient for 40 years. If Alexis Tsipras is guilty for this stupid game now, playing with the future of Europe and the future of Greece, he is not accountable for the situation he found upon his arrival. Fraud, corruption, and an inefficient administration are the biggest problems of Greece. New Democracy and PASOK on the right and on the left, who have shared power since the fall of the colonial periods, never really try to solve those problems of corruption and inefficient administration. They were unable to reform their country, unable to provide it with an efficient and good administration, unable to end the parallel and corrupted economy. But they were agree, not Syriza, but they were agree to falsify the public account with the complicity of Goldman Sachs to enter in the Eurozone. Tsipras finally overestimated his forces and promised his citizens a future he is not able to guarantee them. Pushed into a corner by his European partners, he is unable to convince his majority to support the effort that he seems ready to accomplish. He is trying now the weapon of the referendum, but he is playing with the future of his country. It's one thing to give the voice to the people. It's quite more difficult to organize a quick vote on proposals that are not yet the subject of an agreement. Trying the referendum just to influence the course of a negotiation. Invited to the Russian Davos in St. Petersburg, the Greek Prime Minister has signed a gas deal, potential gas deal, of 2 billion euros with Gazprom. In a chic restaurant, in the city center, or at the tribune of the Economic Forum, Alexis Tsipras appeared confident and relaxed in St. Petersburg, far away from the tensions with the creditor from the EU and the IMF. The Greek Prime Minister did this choice to spend 2 days at the Russian Davos and not to Brussels, to take a gas agreement, but mostly to have a symbolic political support from Vladimir Putin. This should open the way for huge opportunities for cooperation, said Alexis Tsipras. We know how difficult the situation you are living yourself and your people, sympathized for his part the Russian president. Too bad news for the Europeans, who see Athens closer to Moscow, and Russia find an ally to strengthen its gas delivery capacity in the European market. Two tactical victories for Putin. The Russian authorities keep repeating that the Greek side has not asked for financial aid. But at the Forum of St. Petersburg, the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Arkady Vladimirovich Dvorkovich said that Moscow is finally ready to consider any solution proposed by Greece and by our European partners. However, Russian credits are indeed already considered. In the context of major projects, include the list that Vladimir Putin and Alexis Tsipras did at their first meeting in April. The construction of the pipeline is the best example, because the future income from the transit operations through Turkish Stream should then be used to repay Russia, including the loan of the Russian Development Bank. In St. Petersburg, next to Vladimir Putin, the Greek Prime Minister attacked Europe and underlined the development promised by the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa, and the former Soviet Union. If Alexis Tsipras offered a political gift to Putin, he received nothing in return, no money, just the promise of a loan with a Russian bank to participate in the construction of a gas pipeline linking Moscow and Ankara. His strategy against the European Union cannot be efficient. Russia cannot give money to Greece because of the crisis made by the EU sanctions. Alexis Tsipras is not a professional as Putin. He can only be the useful idiot, a simple instrument used by Putin against the European Union. Thank you very much. I am waiting your question.
Дорогі колеги, будь ласка, чи у кого...
Esteemed colleagues, do you have any questions? If not,
Question will be very simple. Olivier, the question is, what do you think about the influence of Greek crisis on the European politics towards Ukraine? Because situations are quite similar in Greece and Ukraine from the economic point of view. Thank you.
The influence of the Greek crisis for
on the European policy.
On European policy.
Again.
Yes, we have the same problems: corruption, inefficient administration. I think more the European Union will be strong against Tsipras. More that can be useful to manage the problem in Ukraine. Because, as you know, with corrupted people, you can only be strong, no weak. And more the European Union will be strong, more that will be useful to face corruption in Ukraine. And for me, you know, this is a political chance to the European Union to show to the rest of the world and to Ukraine that we cannot play with the European Union with corruption and inefficient administration, and also that's also a chance for the European Union that we are not afraid about Putin. We can face, because we have the money and the power.
Thank you. If you have any questions, no. Thank you very much, Olivier.
Thank you.